Um, Today we had a very special celebrity coming to visit us from the USA. His name is Bam Margera, and he is a very popular actor and stunt professional, if you will, from the early 2000s. Today was the day that I met him, and it was unprecedented, to be sure. He came to a province which is about an hour and a half away from here, an hour and a half from where I live. And I went there with my brother at 8 a.m. in the morning. His event was one that was made public about like 2 weeks ago. So we had ample time to prepare ourselves. I woke up early, I got ready, and we were already there at about like 10 in the morning. Because it was quite a long ride. Well, at least in our standards. We were supposed to have a meet and greet at 12:15 in the afternoon. Now, what is interesting, he did come, but it wasn't his event only. There's a clarification that I must make. This event was held up by one of the most renowned skate groups or brands. I don't know what they are, to be honest. I'm a bit of a poser in the matter, but the fact of the matter is that Plan B was the group that stood as the managers of the whole thing. They were supposed to for bringing Bam over in time, right? And at about, let this sink in, we were supposed to have a meet and greet at 12:15 in the afternoon. They started to come. You could see the car closing in after 2 p.m., right? And this is a big problem because we were standing in the rain for quite a long while. Well, that is not unusual in this country, but you might imagine it's not very comfortable. We hadn't seen that coming. I mean, we knew there was going to be rain, but we didn't have in our budget or we didn't have in our plans to be sitting under the rain for about an hour and a half waiting for someone to come over and just doing all because just doing freak all. There was basically nothing for us to do. Like we have a skate park just around the corner, and he did, and Plan B they did a little bit of a stunt show after all the meet and greet stuff was supposed to be over and done with. But the meet and greet is definitely like the worst part of it all, and why I'm making this video in the first place. So I just want to tell you guys how it went for me and for my brother. We arrived at 2 and we went over the place because we hadn't seen what it was before. Why I hadn't been. Well, we did a little bit of a lookout. You could see that there were just the usual. There were food trucks for the event. Spokesperson. There was a spokesperson um who would just like make the whole ordeal more dynamic and which was okay, right? Wasn't the best, but was okay. Well, we went over there and at 11:30 we had nothing else to do, so we started just standing in line for where the meet and greet was supposed to take place in. And these guys, well, we're standing for 30 minutes. I look at my brother and they said, well, they might as well just show up any time. It was 11:40. That was my bad. They were like, it wasn't nowhere near what was supposed to be the start time. But in just a little while, what was supposed to be an on-time schedule, we started counting the time. We started looking at the watch. There were already 10 minutes late, 20 minutes late, 30 minutes late. And like this is normal for everyday events, right? Especially if the celebrity is like very well known and whatnot. Because before getting over to this province, which is called Alajuela, I hadn't been much to Alajuela, and I didn't know well how many people there would be in the place, right? In the event, how many people would assist because I didn't know Bam would be so friggin' popular in Costa Rica. But he is apparently, and there was way more people than I expected, even though it wasn't like a huge amount. It wasn't something uncontrollable. It was just like 300 people, which a skate park that may be just a little over, right? Capacity. Well, what basically happened is that it started to turn to one, started to turn to two, and they still were nowhere to be seen. Specifically at about 1:10, an hour had already passed from where the meet and greet was supposed to take place in, and basically nobody showed up. What did show up, however, was the rain, and it started raining. Not the torrential downpour, uh, which is very popular around here and very common that you'd come to expect, especially at this time of the year, but we did have rain. And it wasn't a lot of rain, mind you, but it was enough to make everyone comfortable and a lot of people to leave. And because, well, we didn't have any kind of roofing, we had to just take it. And you might imagine why that could make you a little mad, right? Because they were supposed to be here an hour earlier, and we did our plans based on that schedule. And I know this is not uncommon for events to do wrong, but I think it is very much needed to talk about topics like this, right? So we stand there, we take in the rain for about an hour, we see the van in which all the people were arriving, just past two, which was already way over the time that was planned, and we were still in line. Like we didn't leave, we didn't let anyone get in front of us. We didn't let anyone get behind us, and we were still doing our line. And the funny thing is that just like another hour passes, Bam and Plan B, all the folks that were important, which was the meet and greet with these people. And these people, they just like they take their sweet time with talking and with engaging with the people that were in the front of the line. But mind you, we were like not even 100 feet from the start of the line, and we were well over the middle of the line. Like we were in a pretty good spot. We were like in the top 40% at worst. And it just didn't advance. The line just wasn't moving at all. And we were just standing there, taking the rain. We were just standing there. And it got pretty annoying at one point. So what we did is, well, one of us just went and did his thing. Maybe we went to the bathroom. Maybe we just did a little bit of a run with our skateboards because that was the whole plan. After the mini greet, we'd have a stunt work, cash for tricks, um, like part of the event. We were still standing there. Like the stunt work was supposed to start at 2:30, and at 2:30 they didn't even start giving out signatures or doing any kind of meet and greet. But I digress. At 3 o'clock, they had already been there for a good 20 minutes, a good 15 minutes, and the line was just not moving. And what's crazy is that they brought a lot of gifts. This is true, and this is good from them. This is good on their part. They brought a lot of gifts for the guests and for the customers that were at the front of the line, which is pretty commendable. I wish I was at that top 20% that got those gifts. Um, but we didn't get anything. Aside from that, there's no problem for that. The thing is that just when these people got their gifts, they started making a mess. They started delaying the line. They started to not move. They started to move out of place, like not cooperate at all with the line. And then that delayed us a whole bunch. Comes 3:30, comes 4 o'clock, and we moved like 10 feet, and there was another 90 that we had to cover, which is okay. We don't mind waiting, but we do mind when we do, in fact, spend our time and do like a schedule, do a plan to go and meet this person, and the expectations are not met. Because what happens at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We were just about 20 people from entering. We were 20 people from getting our signature and getting the hell out of there. And what happens is that a police officer gets in front of us and says that no one else after his person, no one else that's after him, right? He stops all movement and he says that no one that's behind him will get any signatures. And it's literally like we have this cop in the front of our face. I have footage, and he just tells us straight up that we were not getting a signature, even though we waited and waited and waited under the rain, which at like three, it started to die down a little, but still, it wasn't like we didn't just stand under the rain for 2 hours for nothing, let alone the 4 or 5 hours we were already standing there in line waiting for our spot. And the thing that bothers me the most is that they're still doing an event tomorrow. So if you see this video, which I will hopefully put out today before the event that takes place tomorrow, just keep in mind that these people are impunctual as all hell. And they'll probably, if you do not start taking your spot in the line, at least in the top 10 or 20% of the line, then you're not going to be, you will not only be late because they're going to be late. We had our meet and greet at 12:15 according to the schedule, and they arrived at 2, which is bad enough. And what happens after this is that, well, we don't do riots because we're not crazy like that. And on top of that, there's a pretty goddamn big police officer in front of us saying that nobody else is getting any signatures, even though we were standing there for a very good while. Well, my brother is the one that was most interested, but I started, of course, reacting and trying to do something about it because I wasn't reacting in a disrespectful manner. I was just saying, like, how is this possible? Because the person that I was behind, that we were behind, the both of us were behind of for the past 3 hours, he did get past and we didn't. And it felt super, super distressful. So I try to talk with the police officer. He, of course, doesn't let us pass, not even one of us. And even though we had a skateboard that was from Bam's brand. It literally says Bam on it. It was a piece of merch from him. So, whatever. I just go to the van in which they came from, which was just parked behind the booth. And well, I didn't knock any windows, but they were blacked out windows. You couldn't see anything from outside in. But I did take my skateboard and started showing it to the people that were inside, and nobody reacted. Of course, they wouldn't need to. They wouldn't have to. But as soon as I go around the van, then there's a lot of people that are looking at another side, looking at another booth, and then you can see that behind the booth, there's Bam just walking all around, going back and forth, from the booth to the van and from the van to the booth. So I take my skateboard and I just gently go to him and ask him if he could take my signature. This is the footage that you're seeing right now. I didn't shove it in his face or anything. I did it as kindly as I could because that's very important to me. So I go and I get his signature, and then it's all right, right? There were like 80 other people that were giving out their signatures too. They were pretty popular. I didn't care much about them because they weren't Bam. I didn't see anything from them growing up. I did see Jackass not growing up, but I've seen it recently with my brother. He likes it very much. And the worst thing of this is that even though we waited for like 4 or 5 hours in line, we didn't get our signature. We didn't get our picture. I got the signature because I went all around looking for it, and not because I was standing in line like a civilian. And this is something that I don't really like about these events, and I'm pretty sure that the event that took place yesterday which was in the beach. I'm sure it was a spectacular view, spectacular temperature, whatever you want. But I'm most definitely certain that it was unorganized as hell. Like today was. It was pretty bad. The guys were 2 hours late. They didn't do what they were supposed to do because they said that they wanted some light in order to do the stunts work. So they just left, and they left it up a lot of people that were rightfully waiting in line, with nothing, their hands empty, which is incredibly frustrating, as you might imagine. Probably one of the most frustrating experiences if you're a fan of Bam or of um, whatever their name is. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say in this video. I hope you guys like it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't meet your heroes, but like this was something that was going around in our head. And well, apart from that, I did take some interviews. I did ask the people um a little bit of what was going on, but I mean, aside from that, aside from the actual celebrity meeting, the event was great. There were a lot of people, friendly people that were excited to see just like sports, BMX, a showcase of, well, I think it was a competition, national competition of BMX, which was interesting too. They did a pretty good job. Some definitely more than others, but still. And yeah, that's basically it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. And if you guys have any questions about the event, be sure to drop them down below and I'll be sure to answer. And yeah, I'm working on another video. It's about Undertale. I hope you guys are looking forward to it. And it's probably gonna be up in next week because I really want to make this video as good as possible. And I want to make it very good because the actual road trip to making YouTube, um, well, your livelihood is a little rocky, especially at the start. And I'm noticing that if I don't make some changes, then I'm probably not gonna make it like at all. So I need to make some changes. Need to study a little bit more of the analytics of the algorithm, and I'll be sure to give you guys something great as always. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching, folks.